A very tired and sore editing Alan here to say that this turned out to be a much longer adventure than I anticipated. The dogs are going at it in the background. So this is part one. There will be a part two. So I hope you watch then. The first video here is going to be very much an instructional video. How to dig for diamonds, what to look for, what the park is like, that kind of stuff. So if it interests you, this video is for you. And part two, we're going to get more into the digging and maybe find a diamond. But there's at least one diamond in this video as well. Hope you stay tuned. It's early, but it's gonna be a good day. Gonna go hunt some diamonds in Arkansas for real diamonds. Gonna try to find a couple more of these. So these are the two I've already found. This is the little 9-point white diamond. Pretty little guy. And this is a 0.43 carat or a 43 point white diamond that I also found at the same place we're going today, the Crater of Diamonds State Park in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. So time to make a drive. So we are here. Doesn't my hat look stylish right now since it was all crumpled up in the floorboard of my car? That's all right. We'll get that fixed later. It's going to be super hot today. If you do come out here in the summertime, bring a ton of bottled water. Bring a little chair to sit, get some rest, and just be prepared because people do suffer from heat exhaustion, heat stroke yearly in the summer here. So it can get, surface temperatures here in the field can get to over 110 degrees easily. And it will be that way today because it is super hot and super humid. So we are here, Crater of Diamonds State Park in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. Say that 3 times fast, I dare you. This is a 106 million year old volcano caldera that has a bunch of lamperite pipes. Most diamonds are formed in kimberlite. Crater of Diamonds State Park has lamperite pipes, and the diamonds that resulted after the eruption millions and millions and millions of years ago that were forced up from the Earth's mantle are actually about 20, I think remember it's 24 or 28% harder than normal African diamonds, and they can actually only be cut with other Arkansas diamond dust. So they're pretty unique. Really pretty specimens. And we're gonna dig today, do some wet sifting. Straight ahead of me is the North Wash Station. And then we have over there is the South Wash Station. And it's 37 acres of field, so there's a lot of field to work with here. People always ask, how can anything be found here? Since this is a state park and it's been a state park since 1972. Well, they actually come and do plowing in the field a couple times a year, turn over new earth all the time. So there's always something new to be found. Let's see if we can get lucky. So I'm actually stationing up over here in the West Drain. And the way diamonds work is they are heavy minerals. So they like to go to the lowest places possible. That doesn't mean you can't find diamonds in higher elevations, of course, because they'll get, lodged between rocks and everything else. And they're all over the park here. Now, I said they're all over the park. That doesn't mean you're going to find one. On average, about 1 is found per day. That's registered at least. Some people find them in their take-home. A lot of people find them in their take-home gravel, actually, and don't even come register them. So they are still here. But just to show you what I've got here, I've got a number of 5-gallon buckets that I'm going to fill with some gravel before we lug them over to the wash station far away, which is the worst part of it for me. I've got a shovel. I've got a rock pick. I've got a little trowel in order to scoop the gravel into my sifters. In the sifters here, I've got a 1/4 inch big sifter screen, and then I've got a 1/16 inch smaller screen below it. So this 1/4 inch will catch the bigger gravel. If you find a diamond in this top tray, congratulations, you've hit the lottery. And if you find one in the bottom tray, that's where most people find them. And so we're gonna sift with some wet water. It's a little redundant, isn't it? We're gonna sift, do some wet sifting, and then we'll pile them into our Saruka, where we will do some turns and flips and get some heavier centers. And I'll explain that process here in a little bit. First, I'm gonna start digging. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find some good areas that are showing some gravel. A lot of this has been worked and turned over. Ideally, you wanna find some virgin dirt, which is gonna be like a black dirt, not this brown. However, that being said, since we have some water running through here, I'm gonna actually work the sides and try and collect gravel from the sides. And what you wanna find is you wanna find little rocks throughout. If you're finding big clumps of dirt and clay, then you're in the wrong areas. So we're gonna try and get down to the bottom of this hard pan where the kimberlite is, and I can feel some of it right here. And so your little holes and everything else that are on top of this hard pan are gonna hold a lot of your heavier minerals. So we're gonna do a little bit of digging, fill some buckets, go do some test buckets to make sure we've got some good material and we're digging in the right place. I haven't even stuck a shovel in the ground and I'm already sweating. So I like to bring different colored buckets as well. So that way, if I want to dig in multiple areas, I can remember where I dug these buckets from. So if I have some success, if I find some heavier minerals like spinel or epidote or a lot of quartz, those kind of things, garnets. Generally the garnets, quartz, and spinel is what you want to find, because where those are, generally diamonds can be found. If you're not finding those three other minerals, you're probably not going to find diamonds. Doesn't mean you won't, but you're probably not. Park opens daily at 8 a.m. and it's about 8:40 now. And you can see how much I'm already just drenched in sweat. So, like I said, if you're coming in the summertime, come prepared. I'm gonna go wash these 2 buckets we've got filled up. That way I can show you guys the washing process before the washing plant gets way too packed. And we'll see if our ground we're digging in right now is any good to continue digging in. If not, we'll dig somewhere else after these 2 are washed. So the absolute very first thing I do is I put a layer of dirt that I just dig up right next to the wash station. Put it on this because you've got these gaps inside these wood boards. And when I flip my Sarukas to get my centers, I don't want any of this stuff falling through because I don't want my centers to end up uneven. So first thing I do, make a bed. We're literally just gonna wash the rocks. By the end of this day, this trough is gonna be filthy muddy. So I've done a quick yet thorough search of my top screen, didn't find anything of note. So that's what we do with it. Now to wash the bottom screen. Now that we've got our bottom 16th inch tray washed, we're gonna dump this into the Saruka. It looks like I've got enough off this first tray to do a flip. So now we're gonna tap, get all the heavies to the very bottom. Diamonds, spinel, garnet, epidote, agate, jasper. They will all end up at the bottom because they are heavier. Some of the iron material as well, heavier than the calcite. All that stuff. So we want to really tap it down, get all the heavies to the bottom. We're gonna start shaking. And be prepared to get wet and dirty. If you're not ready to get wet and dirty, you're not ready to come here. Use your elbows and wrists, and we're gonna do side to side. And what we're doing is we are concentrating that heavy stuff that's on the bottom into the middle. So that way when we flip this over, all of your heavy material should be on top of your flip and in the center of your flip. I'm going to lift this out at an angle and let all the water drain out before we flip it. Now you can see all of that white center there. Those are all of our heavies. And sometimes the diamond's going to be outside of that center. But that's what we want to see. So that means we're in some good material. So let's take a closer look. And when it dries, a diamond's just going to pop in the sun. Everything else will be kind of flat. Some quartz will shine, but you'll notice the difference between quartz and a diamond. Quartz is going to be sharp edges. Diamonds are going to be rounded off. They're going to kind of look like they've got almost like an oily coat on them, while a quartz crystal will be very clear. But yeah, we're gonna let this dry in the sun a little bit and we'll take a look. And I'm gonna go ahead and wash another bucket. And so in our center right here, let's see if I can get a focus on that. Got a couple things of interest actually. See if I can get that glint to show on the camera here. Right here in the middle, right there, we have a little piece of spinel. And then I got another real shiny crystal right here as well. Right by my fingertip. So probably hard to tell on this camera, but I'll see if I can get some better shots in a little bit. And like I said, we'll let these dry out and take another look. But seeing spinel there is a good sign. So this is finally drying out, and we've got some prospects on the very first flip. How exciting is that? Let's see if I can locate it again. Right in the center of the frame. Right there. See that shine? I can't hold still. There's a shine right there. We're going to pull that out with the tweezers. Take a look. And we've got a few others that are real shiny in here. This is a really good center. So what I'm going to end up doing, I'll pull out the ones I'm going to pull out to investigate. Everything else we're going to take, all the centers off the top, we're going to throw them in a different bucket that we'll take home and sort through later on at a different time. So bucket number 2 is all done, and these are beautiful centers and a lot of spinel, a lot of what I want to see in here. And I started on bucket number 1, which is what y'all saw me digging, and here I've got a ton of the lamprite. This is not what I want to see in the top tray. So that kind of tells me, and I could still get lucky on the bottom trays, it kind of tells me that the second spot I dug is where I need to go back to and dig. But I'm going to finish this bucket out, and we'll see what we got, and then we'll go put a shovel back in the ground. All right, so I was able to go get 4 more buckets. 1, 2, 3, and 4 from the good area. And man, this will test you. It absolutely will. I had to sit down in the shade for a little bit, get out of the sun. But I got enough rest, and I drank about 40 ounces of water as I'm sitting down. I'm losing my voice actually. But let's get back to washing. I have a good feeling. Very first scoopful out of the second batch of buckets, and look at all the gravel that's just in this one screen. That is a wonderful sign. Hopefully we get some good heavies in there too. And of course there's a big old quartz tease right in the middle. But it's definitely quartz. Jagged edges and stuff, but got me excited for a quick second. Again, these are much more of the centers we want. A lot of spinel, a lot of quartz, of course, some definite foolers in there. You can see on this one, my center definitely wasn't centered, but That's all right. We still got all the heavies together. They're just not in the middle, a little further over. You still want to look on the outsides because diamonds will still end up on the bottom on the outsides occasionally. But generally speaking, you want to focus on your centers, but don't ignore the outsides. So if I'm not finding a diamond off the top right now, I'm just taking the centers, scooping them up, putting them in a bucket, and we're going to reclassify them again at the very end. We'll do another wash with just all the heavies and see if we can get anything to pop out. So this gentleman just down the way from me.
I promise I'm not. I'm just using my finger as a reference point.
Just to show you guys what it actually looks like if I can get a focus here.
They may have found
That there, absolutely a diamond. And my focus is really, really poor on this camera right now. I don't know why, iPhone.
It's the light, probably.
It's right there. So you can see there's my fingertip. So it's a nice size. That's probably a 0.4 or a 40 point, maybe even a half a carat. But it's a nice size. There's a good focus. There we go. So yes, they are out here and they are real. That center looks a lot better. Got one more flip after this. Now I'm gonna see what time it is and figure out if we're just gonna go rock hound a little bit because there's tons of jasper and agate at this park as well. And it's the only state park in the United States where it's illegal to keep whatever you find. Just a couple little pieces of jasper here. These are both in my flips. Very pretty. All right, last flip. Let's hope for a good one. Don't know. It's got some potential, but we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna start to reclassify all the ones we've already got, all of our centers. We're gonna go through those one time, reclassify them, get the heaviest out of the heavies out of there. That's what we'll take home to search through. Just did the first flip of the reclassification for the heavies, and you can see the difference. It's a big center there. So all that stuff in the middle is what I'm gonna end up picking up to take home. So we've got our final concentrated centers. I haven't really scoured them just yet. I do see spinel, and I see chromium diopside, and I see garnet. So all good signs. And then our last concentrated center. So I'm done concentrating my centers, and I've collected what I'm gonna take home. So look through, sort through, see what I can find, but I'm also scouting because I'm coming back in 2 days for part 2 of this. And yeah, so I'm scouting for the next dig. So that's what I'm doing now. So I like to look for water flow channels. So during heavy rains, which is the best time to come hunt, by the way, but during heavy rains, we get the water that'll flow down off this hill, right? And somebody's dug a hole here, so they've been digging there already. But as it flows down the hill, it'll run that way. And so look for channels that have little eddies off to the side where water may have pooled and gravel may have collected. There is amethyst out here as well. Right over in this area, what's called Canary Hill. You can see that sign right there. It says Canary Hill on it if I move my finger. In this area, there is amethyst that can be found. Some people have found some pretty sizable amethyst veins and some agate as well. So, kind of neat. So how many calories did I burn today? I don't know, but it was enough that I polished off a pound of brisket and 4 ribs without a problem. Digging for diamonds is exercise.